Hey everybody, this is a study guide for the Chapter 22 test. So some things you need to know. If you see somebody who's talking about natural rights and people are born with life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, that would be the philosopher John Locke. Know that. Also, writers and philosophers of the Enlightenment, they believed in a lot of things, and they basically wanted government decisions to be based on laws of nature and reason. They wanted reasonable laws. Those were Enlightenment thinkers. Also, the Enlightenment followed the scientific revolution, and that is evidence that basically other historical activities will affect other aspects of life. And that questioning in science is also going to start a questioning in government. You also need to know this method of free inquiry, allowing people to take a look and examine their opinions and take a look at evidence they find and investigate things. This is all about the Enlightenment, and it's finding what works best, investigating, using logic. Another thing you need to know, summarizing the Enlightenment. And a statement would be something like the individual achievement and dignity is of great importance. So the importance of the individual is stressed with the Enlightenment. Other things to know, Enlightenment philosophers in Europe, they encouraged later political revolutions with their support of the natural rights of man. And there are going to be many political revolutions because of these Enlightenment thinkers' thoughts are going to inspire them. The scientific revolution and the Enlightenment, they're similar because people are going to question government and examine the natural laws of the universe. Also, this is one thing that John Locke would agree with. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. John Locke did not want to see any king or queen have absolute power. John Locke and Rousseau would likely support the rights of the citizen to decide their government. They supported democratic governments, and they were against kings. Here are three statements. Man is born free, and everywhere he's in chains. Everyone has a natural right to life, liberty, and property. Torture is wrong. Slavery is wrong. These are all Enlightenment statements. Another thing you need to know, John Locke, Montesquieu, and Rousseau, they are basically associated with the Enlightenment and political reforms. And they did not like the absolute monarchy in France. Similarities between the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment, they're similar because both emphasize value and they emphasize human reasoning and thinking for yourself and discovering the truth on your own. Another thing you need to know is the Enlightenment philosophers, they believe that power of government is derived from the consent of the governed. They want the government to get its power from the people. Francis Bacon, Galileo, and Isaac Newton, they promoted an idea that knowledge should be based on experiments, observations. You should find the answers for yourself. You may do a reading and it's talking about Galileo is rejecting his errors, and he basically recanted his statement about the orbits of the planets around the sun because he was afraid that the Catholic Church would have him executed and excommunicated and punished. So he recanted all his work. Paleocentric Model, saying the sun is the center of the universe. And many scientists, their work is all associated with the scientific revolution when they started questioning the church and the geocentric theory. Now, individuals that are paired with other individuals who further developed their idea, we know that Nicholas Copernicus, he had many observations about the planets going around the sun, and he wrote those in a book. Later, Galileo Galilei took his work and proved it right. So Nicholas Copernicus, his ideas were furthered by Galileo. One way John Locke and Montesquieu are similar with their writings, They want to see the power of government limited. Another thing to know, the term divine right, that's the belief that the ruler's authority, the monarch's authority, comes from God directly. And that was fought against in the Enlightenment. So, Louis XIV, he was an absolute king, and he was an absolute ruler. He believed in divine right. Know that. Other kings, Louis XIV, Philip II, and Peter the Great, they would most likely support that the king